Amanda, welcome to present your university to us. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation to participate on our virtual fair. We are glad to have you as a partner. Your university is a good destination for our students, so please, you are free to start.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for the introduction and for hosting me today. And I'm really happy to be here to chat a little bit about being an exchange student at Concordia University of Edmonton. Cool. So the agenda for my presentation is as follows. So we'll talk a little bit about where Concordia University of Edmonton is. We'll talk about the programs that we have and the courses that can be studied for exchange students. We'll chat a little bit about how to apply to Concordia as an exchange student. We'll talk about some of the services we have available, for international students on campus. We have a residence, so I have some pictures of that to show. And then if there's time, I can certainly take some questions. So Concordia University of Edmonton is in Edmonton, in the province of Alberta, which is on the western side of Canada. So by plane, Q is about 1 hour away from Vancouver, which is to the east of us, and about 4 hours away from Toronto, which are cities that students tend to have heard of a little bit more. So Concordia is in Western Canada, right in the middle of the province, and where you see the star for Edmonton there. So Edmonton is the capital city of Alberta, and it's a neat place to visit, I think, but maybe I'm biased. At Concordia, we have over 45 majors and minors in the fields of art, science, and management. So there are many different courses for exchange students to choose from. And there's quite a range of different, and we'll talk a bit about this, there's quite a range of different program areas within these fields. Exchange students at Concordia are registered with us in open studies, which means they don't belong to any one of these faculties, and then they have the opportunity to pick courses from each one. So they're not limited to just one faculty. They can take a course from arts, from science, from management, anything that works well and is being offered during their exchange semester. So Concordia is a smaller institution. We usually have between 2,800 and 3,000 students in total, and about 17% of our students are international from varying countries all around the world. A little bit about our history. It's kind of a neat history. We turned 100 years old last year in 2021. Concordia actually began it was founded by the Lutheran Church. It was a missionary school in 1921, and it's changed significantly between now and then. In 2015, it changed from the University College of Alberta to Concordia University of Edmonton. It's a degree granting institution and secular in nature and very inclusive and open for everybody. But yeah, just kind of a neat history, and some of the buildings are really neat. I guess, yeah, as far as Canada goes, it's older. So a little bit about our campus. It's a cozy little campus since we are a smaller institution. It's not a huge campus. It's located right in Edmonton's River Valley area. So Edmonton has the largest green space of any northern, it's the most northern city with the largest amount of green space or something. Something along those lines. So we have quite a range of green space in the city, and Concordia actually backs onto the River Valley. So there's lots of opportunity to get out and do exploring within Edmonton, and the campus just has a really beautiful view in the summertime. Yeah, so as it says, there's 160 kilometers of pathways. We're not far from a really nice bookstore with a nice cafe. We've got athletics on campus, so opportunity to participate in and watch some sports games. We are accessible, so we're students can reach us by bus or on the light rail transit. And there's just lots to participate in on campus, and it's a nice little community vibe, and I'll chat a little bit more about that. So part of what's special about Concordia is that we are small, so our average class size is around 30 students, and it tends to get smaller from there. So 30 students would be the average class size of a first year lecture, and then as we go up, if students are taking third and fourth year classes, the class sizes tend to be even smaller. So there's really an opportunity to be part of a community on campus. Students are known by name, they're known to staff, they're known to faculty, and just, they get to know other students as well, since the class sizes are much smaller. So it's a little bit of a different experience than being part of an institution that's very big, and where the class sizes can be from 100 to 400 or whatever the case may be. So we might be a good choice for a student that's interested in just trying something different, or for students that are used to having a smaller feel. In terms of our programs, so as I mentioned, we've got room for exchange students in our Faculty of Arts, Faculty of Science, Faculty of Management. In the Faculty of Arts, we have English, music, psychology, religious studies, sociology, political economy, so quite a range of different subjects to choose from, and a whole bunch of different courses available within those subjects. So lots of choice, as I mentioned. In the Faculty of Management, there's accounting, data management, conflict management, finance, human resources, whole bunch of, that paid internship shouldn't actually be listed there, so my apologies for that. Yeah, but lots of opportunity in the School of Management as well. And then in Faculty of Science, same thing, quite a range. So biology, chemistry, information technology, math. And as I mentioned earlier, since exchange students are registered in open studies, they're not limited to courses in just one faculty. So a student could come to Concordia and take a psychology course through arts. They could take an accounting course in management and a biology course through science all at the same time. So just depending on what their interests are and what they're studying at their home institution and need to take with us. But I think that makes it a little bit flexible. So there's a nice range of coursework to be completed here. In terms of how international students are supported at Concordia, we do have a dedicated international student advisor. So she couldn't be here with us today, but it is her sole responsibility to care for international students. I'll talk a little bit about the process for applying, and then we'll talk more about the supports that are available. So the first things first is to be nominated to Concordia, and then applications are made through a third-party system called Apply Alberta. Apply Alberta normally has an application fee, but students that are applying as exchange students receive a promotion code, so that fee is waived. So really, really important. If you're applying as an exchange student, make sure not to pay the application fee. You're eligible to receive a promotion code so that that can be waived. Once you've received an offer of admission, there's a couple of things to consider. If you're studying in Canada for more than 6 months, so if your exchange will be for 2 semesters, you do need to apply for a study permit. Okay, and you need to be admitted to Concordia in order to be eligible for that. Don't worry, immigration supports are available through the International office. So you can access those by just emailing international@concordia.ab.ca, and we can share a bit more information about applying for a study permit. Students that are studying in Canada for 6 months or less don't need a study permit. They can enter Canada as a visitor if they would like to, and we can provide more information about that as well. That's all sort of tackled as part of the process, but if there's ever any questions, students are always welcome to reach out to us, and that email address that I mentioned earlier is going to be displayed on the last slide. Something else to think about carefully is planning of finances. So something that exchange students often are a little bit surprised by is that textbooks are not part of the cost of tuition in Canada. So it's important to budget separately for textbooks. So sometimes students think they're part of the, well, and I guess exchange students don't pay tuition anyways, but students think that they're part of the cost of just being a student at Concordia, but they're not, they're separate. So exchange students do need to budget for this expense. There is opportunity to buy used books and to find discounts on books and things like that, but it definitely is something that needs to be budgeted for. And we like to mention because sometimes students miss that requirement. So I said earlier that the International office is around to support international and exchange students as much as needed. So we work to try to make transition to campus life as smooth as possible. So we do offer orientation and settlement supports. So students will hear from us before they even arrive in Canada. We can outline immigration requirements, traveling to Canada. Navigating travel restrictions at this time is a little bit tricky, and we're around to support with that. And then we've got lots of other supports available. So we do have an airport welcome. We run lots of different sessions through each semester so that to support students. So things like help with adjusting to a new academic system. And then we also have lots of cultural celebrations on campus. So we usually have 2 or 3 each semester. where we're all gathered together in our wide open student space, and students are celebrating their culture together. There's often food and dancing and snacks. And so it's lots of fun and lots of opportunity to, again, be part of a community at Concordia. Something else that we have that's special is our English Conversation Club. So this meets every Friday. It's back to meeting in person. This is a nice one because students can, it's usually the same students attending each week. So they kind of get to know one another. They're part of this club. Usually the conversation is kind of fun, but it's also centered around learning topics to hone English language skills. So it's not just for international students. Domestic students are invited too, to be kind of mentors, and also just because the English language is very complicated. So even fluent English speakers can use some skill building. So yeah, this is a fun one that students attend every week and get to know one another, and yeah, just a special opportunity that we have available. We've also got supports and things happening outside of the international office. So we have Wellness Wednesdays on campus where there's different activities. So it might be, sometimes she's got like a little vegetable fair on campus where students can go and access free greens. Sometimes there might be a yoga or a Zumba class, or yeah, lots of different things happening. Different student clubs and unions for students to be a part of. As I mentioned, there's lots of sports happening, so pep rallies and home games to attend. Yeah, we do have student ambassador program as well, and students can access peer supports during their time here with us too. So yeah, just we really focus on creating a community for students and really providing a unique experience while they're here with us. So as I mentioned, we do have a residence on campus. So there's some images of it there. Anyone with questions about residence or how to book it or pay a deposit or anything like that is encouraged to contact our housing services team directly. So you can just reach out to the international office and I can provide that contact information. But yeah, there are some pictures there. So kind of sweet little places for students to live. Our campus is small, as I mentioned, and the nice thing about residence is that it's attached to, it's often attached to the other buildings, which means that if you're here with us in the winter, you can avoid going outside. You can just yeah, walk through the buildings to enter campus. And sometimes you can tell who lives in residence because they'll come to class in the winter and just wear flip-flops or sandals. Okay, so that's it from me. So you can, if you're interested, if you think you might be visiting us on exchange, you can follow us to stay informed. So on our social media is often where we'll post updates, different contests, events, and things like that, and you can engage with us that way. But you're also welcome to be in touch over email. So the Office of Admissions is the office that will deal with the admissions side of things. So the nomination from the home university is sent to them, and then they're in touch about the application process and things like that. Once students are admitted to Concordia, they will hear directly from us in the international office about next steps and things like that. But if there's any questions, students are welcome to reach out to us beforehand as well. So it's international@concordia.ab.ca if there's any questions. And that's it.
I love your presentation, Amanda. It's very easy to understand the university and the areas and everything. I'm not sure if any students have questions for Amanda or about our process or something. You can ask at chat, or maybe you can hold your hand, your virtual hand. Everything's fine. Amanda, could you please send to us this presentation? We can share with the students.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I absolutely can.
Thank you very much for your time and for help us. I hope we could send more students to you, and you are welcome to send the students to us. We are very glad to have your students here. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the time and for hosting me today and for the opportunity. And yeah, welcome any questions from students to reach out directly, and looking forward to continuing to receive and hopefully send some exchange students.
Okay. Have a nice day, Amanda.
You too, Nancy. Nice to meet you.
Bye-bye.